Hey everybody out there, it's Amber here at the B channel, back with another video to encourage and edify and uplift you. This week's topic is why we should stop being so critical of ourselves. Tips to embrace and accept ourselves just as we are at this present moment. So the first tip is that really brings me a lot of happiness and spirit of contentment would be to write in your gratitude journal and write 10 things that you love about yourself and read it out loud, and find 10 different things every day. And you don't have to necessarily write a love letter to yourself every day or write 10 things you love about yourself every day. You can alternate and do just pure gratitude, 10 things that you're grateful for. And you can, as long as you're showing gratitude or that you're working towards positive body image in some way, shape, or form, or positive self-esteem, and just really focusing on something positive. That's the whole goal here, to remain grateful, because when you show gratitude or when you express gratitude by writing it down, I really think it does a lot to sustain your heart space and to keep it pure and to keep it uplifted, you know what I mean? And when you don't do the work, you don't practice gratitude, you feel the difference. Like, you feel like heavier as opposed to feeling lighter and positive. You feel heavy and negative. So it actually does really help. I think it's a really helpful tool, because I do it, like, I try to do it every day, and the days when I don't do it, I notice that my spirit is different. So it really does help to do your spiritual homework in that way. Or as I like to say, self-work. You always got to work on yourself. We're always under construction. As somebody once said, I listened to a TED Talk the other day, and they said that the final draft, there is no final draft for your life. You're always under revision. Your life is always under revision. And as long as there's breath in your body, you have time to revise. So don't think that everything is set in stone. There's always another chance to try harder, or another chance to approach things differently every day that God gives you breath. So just remember that and embrace it. Another tip that I would share is avoid obsessing over your looks. God made you, and He does not make mistakes. And a perfect illustration of this fact is Psalms 139, 13 through 14. Now, I am very partial to the voice translation when it comes to this, but there are also a lot of other beautiful translations, and I would just like to read that for you right now. For you shaped me inside and out. You knit me together in my mother's womb. Long before I took my first breath, I will offer you my grateful heart, for I am your unique creation, filled with wonder and awe. You have approached even the smallest details with excellence. Your works are wonderful. I carry this knowledge deep within my soul. So, with that being said, God doesn't make mistakes. He knows what He made. He knows who you are. So, just take confidence in that and take solace in that when you want to obsess about things. He made you. You are His unique creation. So don't obsess about his masterpiece. It's really an insult to him. And that's something that I'm working on doing for myself, like learning that it's an insult when you critique the thing that God made, because he loves you just the way you are, unconditionally and freely, no matter what you look like or what you've done or anything of that nature. And so remember also, another tip that I would share with you is you cancel every negative thought out. Cancel it out with a positive one. Because it says in the book of Proverbs 18:21. This is the Message version, another beautiful translation of the Bible that I'm fond of. Words kill, words give life. They're either poison or fruit. You choose. And that's powerful to me. So basically, other translations will say, there's power, there's life and death, the power of the tongue. There's life and death in the tongue. So make sure that you are cognizant of that, of the words you speak, and that they have power. So don't speak death to yourself. Speak life to yourself. Give life to yourself. Be light. Don't be darkness. So just remember that. And also another verse that I would share pertaining to your heart space and just speaking positivity versus negativity would be Proverbs 4:23 from the New Living Translation. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. And to me that means be careful with your heart. Be careful with how you treat it. Respect your heart. Honor your heart. And just accept yourself for where you are at any given moment. And because if you do not follow your heart and you do not treat your heart as something that's valuable, your life, the trajectory of your life will be vastly different. When you value your heart and you take care of it and you do the necessary work to heal it when it needs to be mended and healed, then you will reap the benefits of it. But negative thoughts and being negative does not help your heart. It only hurts it. So learn to be positive for the sake of your heart, for the sake of your mind, for the sake of your self-esteem, for the sake of your confidence, for the sake of the course of your life. Speak life, not death. Be kind to your heart, not mean to it, not harsh. So, continuing in that vein, we want to watch, listen to, or read positive things, or watch positive people, listen to positive people, read books by positive people. Spend your time wisely and uplift yourself. Do not degrade yourself. So you have to ask yourself, going off course a little bit, with another verse that I really treasure would be, is it beneficial to do the things that you are doing, or say the things that you are saying, or spend time on the things that you're spending time on. Think about how you were spending your time, and is it something that is beneficial, and are you spending your time wisely? Are you getting a return on investment for your time? So you just have to ask yourself, is it beneficial? Is it worthwhile, the things that you're spending your time on? And so that it brings to mind a verse from 1 Corinthians I believe. Like this says, is it beneficial? Is it beneficial? You have to realize that all things are not worth your time, and all people are not worth your time, and all feelings are not worth your time. So do not get caught up in that headspace, because it's not. So that brings to mind 1 Corinthians 6:12, Amplified Bible, another one of my favorite translations. Beautiful. Everything is permissible for me, but not all things are beneficial. Everything is permissible for me, but I will not be enslaved by anything and brought under its power, allowing it to control me. So basically what that is saying is, sure that the things are allowed, but do they benefit you, or are they just controlling you? So don't let negative thoughts and negative feelings and opinions and negative things in general control you. Don't allow them to enslave you. They don't have that much power. They don't deserve that much power. So that brings me to the verse that I was focusing on in terms of spending time wisely. Ephesians 5:15-17, one of my favorite verses on this topic from the Amplified Bible. Look carefully then how you walk. Live purposefully and worthily and accurately, not as the unwise and witless, but as wise, sensible, intelligent people, making the very most of the time, buying up each opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be vague and thoughtless and foolish, but understanding and firmly grasping what the will of the Lord is. So, those verses mean to me, live with purpose, live a life of worth, live accurately, think on things, do things sensibly, do things intelligently, don't squander your time, make the most of it, firmly grasp what God's will is for your life, and pursue it, and ask God for spiritual discernment on what the things of God and what the will is for, what His will is for your life, what He wants you to do. So spend time on those things that'll propel you forward, not push you backwards. And one of my last tips is, don't seek outside validation, only God's. That's the key to happiness. Take the pressure off. Don't leave it up to others or place the burden of your happiness on other people. It should come from inside. Work on being happy by yourself in terms of not relying on others for happiness. Because if you're always relying on other people and their presence and their affirmations and their validation and their approval and positive feelings towards you, you'll always be squandering and always searching for something. And really, at the end of the day, everything that you're searching for, you can find in God, because God never disappoints you. He's always there, ever-present help in times of trouble. Psalms 46:1. He loves you, and He'll never let you fall or never let you slip or stumble. And that brings me to Galatians 1:10, which basically is reiterating my thoughts on outside validation and what I try to remember every time that I want to seek outside validation is, now am I trying to win the favor of men or of God? Do I seek to please men? And then if I were still seeking popularity with men, I should not be a bond servant of Christ the Messiah. What that means to me is not necessarily men in the sense, the literal sense of the gender, men, but am I still seeking popularity with those who dwell on the earth? With men, with women, with anybody, any human being? Am I seeking popularity with anybody? If I'm doing that, then then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not doing what God's called me to do in my life. He doesn't want me to seek popularity from other people, seek validation from other people. He wants us to seek validation from Him and know that that's all we need and be content with that and know that that's enough. Be satisfied with His validation, with His love of us, unconditional love, that we don't have to do anything to do. We don't have to buy His love or anything of that nature. So I just wanted to impress that upon you today. Next, last but not least, we need to learn to love ourselves. And when you love yourself, it gets harder and harder to seek validation outwardly, because you know that you should be seeking it within first. And when you love yourself first, you love God and you love yourself, it's easier to love others. But you have to do the work. You have to really put that work in. And I'm not saying that I have arrived. We all are works in progress. And if you feel like you have arrived, then that's not really realistic to feel like you have arrived and that there's nothing you could possibly work on to improve. But, I feel like I am in a better place than I was even 2 years ago or 5 years ago or a month ago. I'm far removed from my mental capacity, my mental state of the past. Still, there are everyday struggles, especially after losing the weight and trying to maintain it and getting used to my new body. There are a lot of struggles. And I criticize myself too much, and I overanalyze too much, and I obsess too much. And I'm human, and I acknowledge my humanity. But at the same time, I have to try my best to seek solace by believing in a higher power and knowing that God, the creator of the universe, the Most High, He has my best interest in heart, and that He would never fail me or lead me astray. So, with that being said, you have to learn to be yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, be kind and gracious to yourself above all else. And that leads me to the passage of 1 Corinthians 13. And I'm going to read from 4 through 8. Just a snippet, 4 through 8, the beginning of 8. Love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful and is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag and is not proud or arrogant. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not provoked, nor overly sensitive and easily angered. It does not take into account a wrong endured. It does not rejoice at injustice, but rejoices with the truth when right and truth prevail. Love bears all things, regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for the best in each one, hopes all things, remaining steadfast during difficult times, endures all things without weakening. Love never fails. It never fades or ends.